Today I am at the University of Pittsburgh talking with college students about our southern border. Ever since President Biden took office, this country has taken in roughly 5 million illegal immigrants. Does this constitute a crisis to these students? And if so, what do they think the current administration should do to tackle this problem? Let's find out. As of now, do you think that the state of the current border could constitute a crisis?
I'm honestly not too familiar, so I don't really have much to say about this kind of thing.
I don't know anything about that. I don't really look at the news when I'm in school.
Yeah, I would say there is a crisis, but it's a human rights crisis, not like an immigration disaster. Oh no, we're being flooded by immigrants.
I think it is an issue. Yeah, I'm leaning more liberal, so I think we should take in more immigrants.
Yes, probably not in the typical ways though. They're trying to get into this land where they've heard of better things, and it's a crisis because, in some situations they're not getting in, they're not getting the access they need. There's large camps, things are being really unsanitary and unhealthy, and I think that's a crisis too.
I would argue that it's almost impossible for a crisis on the southern border to form in such a way that it will affect my opinion. I'm essentially an anarchist when it comes to immigration laws. I believe that sort of the concept of an illegal immigrant, of an illegal person, is sort of misguided. So when it comes to a southern border, I just think that at the end of the day, more immigration is not going to hurt us, and that's mostly what people are talking about when they really say crisis at the southern border.
Do you happen to know which elected official was put in charge of our southern border?
I do not.
I do not.
No, I do not.
Yeah, President Biden. He hasn't actually done anything to revise any of the Trump administration policies at all, and that's really a problem for me.
The vice president?
Yes.
Yeah, Vice President Kamala Harris was put in charge of our southern border. Have you seen a lot of what she's been doing in the news? Do you think she's doing a good job with what's going on down there?
I haven't really seen what's going on.
Not with the southern border. No, none of that.
No, I haven't.
No, I mean, she's visited the border. Okay, great. Right? I don't know. I feel like elected officials do your job, right?
So President Biden, when he was campaigning for office, was campaigning on the slogan, "Not another foot," kind of, alluding to the fact that he wasn't going to expand on the border that's currently down there, the border wall, I should say. But just a couple months ago, he approved extra footage to be added onto the border to kind of fill in some gaps. Does this surprise you coming from President Biden?
I mean, I don't know. Politicians lie all the time, so that's not shell-shocking.
Yeah, no, definitely, I could say that's surprising for sure.
It does a little bit. I always thought of him more accepting of the immigration policies and whatnot.
Doesn't surprise me. Politicians, especially the ones that have a lot of private money coming in, have other interests than maybe the American people. It's disappointing.
Since President Biden took over the presidency, an estimated around 5 million illegal immigrants have entered our country. In July alone, 2,000 pounds of fentanyl have been seized. Do these numbers surprise you at all?
Yeah, a lot. A lot, yeah, for sure.
Neither of them surprised me. The numbers seem about right.
I feel like just hearing those numbers, it's quite alarming.
Well, are they correlated? I don't mind having 5 million immigrants enter the country.
Even if it's not through the legal process?
I don't care how they come.
Does hearing that concern you at all?
Not really.
2,000 pounds of drugs?
I mean, yeah, but
As America is the world's greatest consumer of drugs. Where there's a will, there's a way. Where there's an opportunity, there's supply. Where there's demand.
Do you think the administration should be doing more to kind of prevent this from happening?
Most definitely. I think whatever they can do to just keep people safe, keep our country safe and filtered the best they can, even though that's impossible. But yeah, that's definitely an issue. It needs to be covered for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that, yes.
yeah, they should be doing a little bit more, but I think they're too busy worrying about their appearance more than anything. That's true. Yeah, I agree.
I think one of the biggest things is to make the path to citizenship here. It shouldn't be easy. I don't think it should be easy, but it shouldn't be this hard. You shouldn't have to wait 15 years after submitting your document.
Making sure that illegal immigrants, if they do come in illegally, if they aren't able to, they don't find the process of legal visa entry to the country to be sustainable and they come in illegally, I would obviously want that to be sort of decriminalized as far as possible.
You use the word decriminalize. You don't think that any punishment or kind of restrictions should be made when looking at illegal immigration?
Not beyond anything that is already illegal. If you're carrying drugs into the country, I believe that you are guilty of drug trafficking. I don't believe you're guilty of illegal immigration into a country, because I don't believe that that's a real thing.
So even though it is against federal law as of now, you don't think that they should be punished?
No, I do not.
And I think it's really important to remind yourself, people who seek asylum are not illegal immigrants. They're not.
What about the people who aren't seeking asylum and who are just crossing through the border?
Who are they? Do you have examples of these kinds of people? Because I don't see any examples of those kinds of people in the media that I consume.
Well, since Biden took office, 5 million illegal immigrants have entered, and not every single one of them are asylum. They come through.
I'm going to have to get going, but I just think it's really unfair of you to say illegal immigrants before that they've been, had a trial. Speaking of which, the trials for immigration are extremely unfair. They're not provided representation. They're not given access to legal materials, and that needs to be revised too. All right.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Yep.